The grand hall of the Myriadian flagship gleamed with a metallic sheen that hurt human eyes. No one moved as Queen Xeraxia entered. She stood nearly 8 feet tall with iridescent blue skin that seemed to shimmer with each movement. Her 6 arms moved with elegant precision as she approached the diplomatic table. Admiral Kate Porter of Earth Alliance watched the alien queen with careful eyes. While others from the human delegation cowered slightly, Kate maintained her posture. This was the first diplomatic meeting between humans and Meridians after the brief but bloody space conflict that had cost thousands of lives on both sides. Xeraxia looked down at the human representatives. Her large violet eyes narrowed. The Meridians were a matriarchal society where the queen held absolute power. Her warriors stood nearby, hands on their energy weapons. The tension in the room could be cut with a knife. Your species attacked our mining vessels. Xeraxia spoke, her voice melodic, yet cold. You claim it was a misunderstanding. Yet here we sit discussing peace terms rather than your surrender. Kate stepped forward, ignoring the warning glance from her fellow officers. Your Majesty, we did not know those were mining vessels. The technology. Signatures matched our database of Cronin warships. We believed we were under attack. The Queen hissed a sound that made the other humans step back. Lies. The human empire seeks to expand its territories. We know your history, your wars, your endless conquest. With respect, Your Majesty, we are not an empire. Kate spoke clearly and directly. We are an alliance of worlds unified by shared values, not conquest. The Meridian guards tensed. Their queen was never contradicted yet. This small human female stood her ground. Xeraxia leaned down, her face inches from Kate's. The room grew silent. No one had ever stood this close to the queen except her personal guards. You have courage, human. I will grant you that, Xeraxia said. But courage alone will not save your worlds if this peace fails. What happened next shocked everyone in the chamber. Kate reached out and gently touched the queen's arm. A collective gasp echoed from the Meridian side. Touching the queen without permission was punishable by immediate death. Yet Kate maintained the contact, her eyes locked with Xeraxia's. We want peace, Kate said simply. Our people are not so different. We both seek to protect those we love. We both want our children to grow up in a universe without war. Let us find common ground. The Meridian guards raised their weapons, but Xeraxia held up one of her hands. The room froze. For several heartbeats, the human and alien queen remained connected by that simple touch. Then something remarkable happened. The queen's skin began to glow slightly where Kate's hand rested. How interesting, Xeraxia whispered. Her voice had changed softer now. Curious. Your bioelectric field, it resonates with mine. This has never happened with any species we have encountered. The diplomatic team watched in amazement as Xeraxia placed one of her 6 hands over Kate's. The guards looked confused, unsure how to react to this unprecedented event. Perhaps there is truth to your words, human. The queen said, Our scientists believe that bioelectric resonance only occurs between compatible minds, compatible intentions. The first meeting ended with tension, still thick in the air. But a small bridge had been built. Kate returned to the human ship, her mind racing with thoughts of the strange connection she had felt with the alien Queen Commander Susan Miller. Her second-in-command waited for her report. So how bad is it? Susan asked. Are we looking at continued war, or is there hope? Kate smiled slightly. There is always hope, Susan. The Queen is not what our intelligence report suggested. She is proud. Yes, but there is wisdom there, and something else. Something I cannot explain. That night, Kate could not sleep. Her dreams were filled with strange visions of stars and worlds she had never seen. She saw vast cities built into mountainsides, oceans of purple liquid, and skies filled with flying creatures that looked like a mix between birds and fish. When she awoke, Kate felt different somehow, as if part of her mind had expanded. She knew things about Meridian culture she had never been briefed on, understood concepts that should have been alien to her. The realization hit her with sudden clarity. The touch had created some kind of psychic link. The second day of negotiations began with a different atmosphere. Queen Xeraxia entered the chamber, but this time her posture was less rigid. She looked directly at Kate and nodded slightly, a gesture that made the Meridian guards exchange confused glances. "Admiral, Porter." The Queen addressed her formally. "I wish to speak with you privately. My advisors disapprove, but I find direct communication more efficient than these formal exchanges." The human delegation erupted in whispered concerns. Commander Miller grabbed Kate's arm. "You can't go alone, it's too dangerous." Kate gently removed Susan's hand. "If we want peace, we must take risks. This is our chance." The private chamber was smaller but no less impressive. Xeraxia dismissed her guards, which clearly made them uncomfortable, but they obeyed. Without the audience of others, the Queen seemed different, her movements more fluid, less performative. "You felt it too, didn't you?" Xeraxia asked without preamble. "The connection, the sharing of minds." Kate nodded. "I dreamed of your world last night. I saw cities and mountains, oceans of purple." Xeraxia made a sound that might have been surprise. "The sacred valleys of Meridia Prime. How could you know of them? They are not in any data we have shared." "I don't know," Kate admitted. "But since yesterday I feel different. I understand things about your people that I shouldn't know." "The ancient texts speak of this," Xeraxia said, moving closer. "A joining of minds across species, but it was considered myth legend. I never believed." As they spoke, Kate learned that the Meridian civilization was far older than humans had realized. They had explored the stars when humans were still learning to make fire. Their conflict with humans was just the latest in a long history of misunderstandings with younger species. "We have grown cautious with age," Xeraxia explained. "When you live for centuries, you learn that most young species burn bright but destroy themselves. We watch, we wait, we judge if they are worthy of joining the galactic community." "And humans," Kate asked, "how do you judge us?" Xeraxia studied her for a long moment. "You are violent, unpredictable, but there is something in your kind, a resilience, a capacity for growth that is rare. We have been watching Earth for centuries. Some of my advisors wanted to eliminate the threat you might become. Others argued for patience." "And what do you believe?" Kate asked. "I was undecided," the Queen admitted. "Until yesterday. Until you touched me, and I saw into your mind. Your species' capacity for both destruction and creation is remarkable. You feel everything so intensely. Your lives are brief, yet you accomplish so much." The third day of negotiations brought new challenges. A faction of Meridian warriors led by General Vexora openly questioned their queen's judgment. Vexora, a tall Meridian with battle scars across her face, stood before the Queen in open defiance. "My Queen, these humans destroyed 3 of our mining vessels. They killed hundreds of our people, and now you speak with them as equals, because one touched you and lived." Vexora set her voice hard. "Many warriors whisper that you have been bewitched." Xeraxia rose to her full height, towering over the general. "You question my judgment, General Vexora. That is your right as my war council. But do not question my sovereignty. The human Admiral Porter has shared her mind with mine. I have seen truth where we expected lies." Kate watched the exchange from her seat at the diplomatic table. She could feel the tension among the Meridians, could sense the division her presence had caused. The connection between her and the Queen had grown stronger. She now understood the Meridian language without translation, could feel emotions that were not her own. Susan noticed Kate's intense focus. "What's happening, Kate?" "You look strange." "Power struggle," Kate whispered. "The general wants war. She believes the Queen has been compromised by our meeting." Susan looked alarmed. "How could you possibly know that the translators aren't even working right now?" Kate realized her mistake. She had understood the Meridian conversation perfectly without technology. "I just read their body language. I'm good at that, remember." The confrontation between Queen and General ended with Vexora bowing stiffly and returning to her position. But Kate knew this was far from over. The general would not give up so easily. A plan was already forming in the warrior's mind. Kate could feel it through her strange connection to the Queen's consciousness. That evening, Kate received an urgent message from Xeraxia. The Queen requested another private meeting, but this time in the neutral zone between their ships. Kate knew it was dangerous, but also knew she had no choice. The peace talks balanced on a knife edge. "You can't go," Susan insisted when Kate told her. "It's obviously a trap. That general wants you dead." "The Queen isn't behind it," Kate said with certainty. "She's trying to warn me." "How could you possibly know that?" Susan demanded. Kate had no good answer, but she trusted the feeling. She made her way to the neutral meeting point, a small observation deck connecting the human and Meridian vessels. The space was empty except for Queen Xeraxia, who stood looking out at the stars. "Admiral Porter, you came alone. That was brave and foolish," the Queen said without turning. "I trust you." Kate replied simply, "What is happening, General?" "Vexora plans to sabotage the peace talks. She believes I have been compromised by our connection. She is not entirely wrong. The bond we share is unprecedented. It has changed me, changed how I see humans." Kate moved beside the Queen, looking out at the same stars. "It has changed me too. I dream of your world every night. I understand your language. I feel." She paused, searching for words. "I feel what you feel sometimes." Xeraxia turned her violet eyes, reflecting the starlight. "The ancient texts call this soul binding. It was believed to be possible only between meridians, but your species is adaptable in ways we never imagined." "What does Vexora plan to do?" Kate asked. "She will strike during tomorrow's signing ceremony. She has loyal warriors who believe as she does that humans are a threat that must be eliminated. They plan to kill you, and your delegation claim it was self-defense. After that, war will be inevitable." Kate felt a chill. "How do we stop this?" "We complete what has begun between us." Xeraxia said, her voice low. "The soul binding. The partial connection we share now is just the beginning. If we complete it, I can use my authority with absolute conviction. The warriors will not be able to question me. Vexora will be powerless." "What does completing it involve?" Kate asked, though somehow she already knew. "A deeper connection, mind to mind, soul to soul. It is intimate. In our culture, it is reserved for queens and their chosen consorts. It has never been attempted with another species. The risks are considerable. Risks. If our minds are too different, if the connection fails, we could both be lost." "Both minds shattered," Xeraxia explained. "I would not ask this if there were any other way." Kate considered everything at stake. The lives of her delegation. The possibility of peace between their species. The alternative was war. A war that would cost millions of lives on both sides. "I will do it," Kate said firmly. "What do we need to do?" The ritual was ancient, according to Meridian tradition. It required sacred oil, specific meditation techniques, and usually days of preparation. They had hours. Kate followed the Queen's instructions precisely. They sat facing each other, hands touching foreheads, nearly meeting. "Open your mind to me, Kate Porter of Earth," Xeraxia whispered, "and I will open mine to you." The connection that had been a trickle became a flood. Kate gasped as memories not her own filled her consciousness. She saw Xeraxia's childhood 500 years ago on a world with 3 moons. She felt the weight of responsibility as the Queen ascended the throne after her mother's death. She experienced the loneliness of rule, the burden of making decisions that affected billions. In turn, Xeraxia experienced Kate's life. Her childhood in the rebuilt cities of Earth after the climate wars. Her determination to join Earth Alliance. Her rise through the ranks. Her hopes and fears for humanity's future. The exchange went deeper than memories. They shared beliefs, values, dreams. Tears streamed down Kate's face as the connection intensified. She felt like her identity was dissolving, merging with something larger. something both meridian and human, something new. When it ended, Kate collapsed forward, Xeraxia catching her. With 4 of her arms, their breathing synchronized, their heartbeats matched rhythm. Though physically unchanged, they were different beings now, connected in ways that defied explanation. "It is done," Xeraxia whispered. "You are now part of me as I am part of you, the first human to share soul with Meridian." Kate nodded, unable to speak. The experience had been overwhelming, beautiful, and terrifying. She now understood the Meridian culture perfectly, could recall the names of cities she had never visited, could recite histories of a people not her own. "Will it be enough?" she finally managed to ask. "Will it stop Vexora?" "It must be," Xeraxia said. "Return to your ship. Rest tomorrow will test us both." Kate made her way back to the human vessel, feeling strange in her own body. Everything familiar seemed slightly different. She knew Susan would have questions but had no idea how to explain what had happened. As she entered the human ship, Kate realized something else had changed. She could sense the presence of the Meridian warriors boarding the vessel on the opposite side, armed warriors following Vexora's orders. They had not waited for the ceremony. They were coming now to kill the human delegation. Kate ran to the command center. "We've been infiltrated. Meridian warriors are on board." Alarms blared throughout the human ship. Susan looked at Kate in shock. "How do you know this?" "The sensors haven't detected anything." "Trust me. They are here," Kate insisted. "Vexora sent them. They will kill everyone to prevent the peace treaty." Before Susan could question her further, the ship's security system finally detected the intruders. Red warning lights flashed. "Unauthorized entry detected in sectors 7, 9, and 12. "How did you know?" Susan asked, her face pale. But there was no time for explanations. "Seal the command center," Kate ordered, "and get me a direct line to Queen Xeraxia." The security team moved quickly, locking down vital areas of the ship. Through her connection, Kate could sense the Meridian warriors moving through the corridors. Their intentions were clear. They would eliminate the human command structure, then claim it was self-defense. Kate closed her eyes, focusing on her link with Xeraxia. She pushed her thoughts across the connection. Betrayal attack now. The response came immediately. Understanding coming hold. "The Queen knows," Kate told Susan. "She will help us, but we need to protect ourselves until then." Susan handed Kate a weapon. "I don't know what's going on with you, but you're acting strange, Kate. What happened between you and the Queen?" "It's complicated," Kate said, checking the weapon. "I can explain later if we survive." The first explosion rocked the ship. The warriors were using Meridian plasma charges to force their way through sealed doors. Kate knew exactly what they were doing. She could predict their movements thanks to her connection with Xeraxia and Meridian military tactics now in her mind. "They will come through the secondary maintenance shaft," Kate said, pointing to an access panel. "It's not on the main security grid." Susan stared at her. "How could you possibly?" The panel burst open in a shower of sparks. 3 Meridian warriors emerged, weapons ready. Kate fired first, taking down 2 before they could enter fully. The third managed to get off a shot that hit a nearby console before Susan neutralized her. "We need to get to the treaty room," Kate said. "The delegation is there. It's their main target." They fought their way through the ship, Kate leading with an uncanny knowledge of where the attackers would be. She moved differently now, Susan noticed, with precision and grace that seemed almost alien. The few Meridian warriors they encountered seemed shocked to see Kate, almost hesitant to fire at her. They reached the treaty room to find it under siege. Meridian warriors were attempting to break through the reinforced doors. Kate approached without fear. "Stand down in the name of Queen Xeraxia." The warriors turned their weapons, still raised but uncertainty in their posture. Kate continued speaking in perfect Meridian, her accent flawless, her syntax formal and royal. "Your queen commands you by the ancient laws of Meridia, by the blood of the first queens, I speak with her authority." The warriors looked at each other confused. One stepped forward. You are human, you cannot speak for our queen. I am bound to her, I carry her thoughts as she carries mine. Kate replied, her eyes beginning to glow with the same iridescence as Xeraxius. See the truth of my words. The glow intensified. Kate felt the queen's consciousness surge within her. Xeraxia was channeling her presence through their connection. The warriors saw it too. Several dropped to one knee, a sign of submission in Meridian culture. The general has deceived you. Kate continued, the queen's formal tones emerging from her human voice. She acts against my will, against the future of our people. Return to your loyalty, or face the consequences. Most of the warriors lowered their weapons, but their leader kept hers raised. This is some human trick. General Vexora warned us the queen has been compromised. At that moment, the ship's main doors opened. Queen Xeraxia entered surrounded by her royal guard. The warriors immediately prostrated themselves, all except the leader, who stood frozen, her weapon still half raised. You doubt the word of your queen, soldier Trixana. Xeraxia said, her voice cold. You follow a general who has committed treason. My queen. The warrior said, her resolve wavering. We believed. We were following your true wishes, that you were being manipulated. Look at us. Xeraxia said, moving to stand beside Kate. See what has been forged. Together they stood, human and Meridian queen, both with eyes glowing with the same light, both radiating the same energy. The connection between them visible now as a subtle luminescence that joined them. Kate felt the queen's consciousness intertwined with her own, their thoughts flowing back and forth without barrier. The human Admiral Porter and I have completed the ancient soul binding, Xeraxia announced. She is now Meridianin as I am Humanin. We are the bridge between our peoples, the living embodiment of the peace we seek. The remaining resistance crumbled. The warrior Trixana finally lowered her weapon and knelt. Forgive us, my queen, we did not understand. With the immediate threat neutralized, Kate turned to Susan and the human security team. Stand down, they will not harm us now. Susan looked at her friend with new eyes. Kate, what happened to you? Your eyes, they glow like hers. I told you it was complicated, Kate said with a small smile. Queen Xeraxia turned to address both humans and Meridians. General Vexora has been detained. Her conspiracy has failed, but the damage is done. Trust has been broken. Blood has been spilled. Kate felt the queen's sadness, their shared grief for the lives lost, but she also felt determination. The treaty must still go forward. Your Majesty, more than ever, we need to show that peace is possible. Yes. Xeraxia agreed. But not the treaty as written. A stronger bond is needed, now that we have seen the depths of resistance on both sides. Together they re-entered the treaty room where the human delegation had been sheltering. The diplomats looked with amazement at Kate, her eyes still glowing, her manner changed. They whispered among themselves as she took her place beside the alien queen, not across the table from her but at her side. The terms must change, Kate announced. What we propose now is not just peace but alliance, not just cooperation but integration. Our peoples have more to offer each other than we realized. Over the next several hours, Kate and Xeraxia presented a new vision, a shared future where humans and Meridians would work together, combining their strengths, human adaptability and creativity with Meridian wisdom and advanced technology. The Queen offered to share medical knowledge that could extend human lifespans. Kate offered Earth alliances faster than light, drive technology that would expand Meridian exploration capabilities. This is unprecedented, the human chief diplomat said. Admiral Porter, you are proposing changes that go far beyond your authority. I speak not just as an admiral now, Kate replied. Through me, Queen Xeraxia offers her people's hand in true friendship. I have seen her mind her heart. Her intentions are genuine. Their civilization has much to teach us, as we have much to offer them. The diplomats remained skeptical, but the events of the day had shaken everyone. The attempted coup, the violence, and most of all the visible change in Kate Porter herself made a powerful statement. When the discussions ended, Kate felt exhaustion creeping in. The constant presence of another consciousness was draining. She found a quiet corner to sit. Xeraxia approached her guards, maintaining a respectful distance. "You are tired," the Queen said. "The binding takes energy, especially for one not born to it." Kate nodded. "Will it always be this intense? It will settle, become more manageable, but it will always be there. The connection cannot be broken once forged. We are bound now until death." What does that mean for us for our roles? Xeraxia considered the question. In Meridian tradition, one who is soulbound to the Queen becomes royal consort. But this situation has no precedent. You are human. You have duties to your people as I have to mine. So we are something new, Kate said, as is this alliance. News of the soul binding spread quickly through both fleets. Humans and Meridians alike struggled to understand what it meant. Kate found herself the subject of intense curiosity. Some humans regarded her with awe, others with suspicion. The glow in her eyes had dimmed but not disappeared entirely, a visible reminder of her changed nature. Earth Alliance Command demanded explanations. The highest-ranking officials connected via quantum communication, expressing their shock and concern. "Admiral Porter, you underwent an alien procedure without authorization." Admiral Grace Wilson set her face stern on the communication screen. "You have compromised yourself, and potentially Earth security." Kate stood straight facing the screen. "With respect, Admiral, I made the only choice available." The connection with Queen Xeraxia prevented full-scale war. Her general was planning to massacre our delegation. I saw an opportunity for lasting peace, and I took it. "You exceeded your authority," another official said. "This binding, what does it mean exactly? Can they control you?" "No," Kate said firmly. "It's not control, it's understanding, it's shared consciousness. Xeraxia can't make me do anything against my will, but I understand her people now in ways that would have taken decades of diplomatic relations to achieve." The debate continued for hours. Kate patiently explained what she had experienced, what she had gained. She demonstrated her new knowledge of Meridian culture, history, technology, information that no human had ever been privy to before. Eventually, even the most skeptical officials had to admit the strategic value of the situation. "Very well, Admiral." Admiral Wilson finally said, "We will proceed with the modified treaty, but you will undergo full medical and psychological evaluation upon your return." Kate agreed, though she knew no human science could fully explain what had happened to her. When the communication ended, she found Susan waiting. "So they didn't court-martial you?" Susan said, with a small smile. "Not yet," Kate replied, "but I think they realize the potential benefits outweigh the risks. The knowledge I now have access to, the insights into Meridian technology, medicine, culture, it's priceless." Susan studied her friend and, "What about you, Kate? How do you feel about all this? You signed up for a diplomatic mission and ended up soulbound to an alien queen. It's a bit more than a change in job description." Kate laughed for the first time in days. "When you put it that way, it does sound crazy, but it feels right, Susan. I can't explain it properly. It's like I was missing something I never knew was missing, and now I'm more complete." "You love her," Susan said suddenly. It wasn't a question. Kate looked surprised, then thoughtful. "It's not that simple. It's not human love. Not exactly. It's deeper, more fundamental, like she's become part of my identity. And yes, there are feelings, powerful ones, but they don't fit into our usual categories." The next day, the formal treaty signing proceeded. The ceremony was held in neutral space on a platform constructed between the two flagships. Representatives from both sides watched as Kate and Xeraxia signed the document together. Their hands touched briefly during the exchange, and everyone saw the subtle glow that passed between them. The Porter-Xeraxia Accord, as it came to be known, established more than peace. It created a framework for integration, research exchange programs, and mutual defense. The first joint human Meridian space station was planned cultural exchanges would begin immediately, and most significantly, a new governmental body would be formed with representatives from both species to oversee the growing alliance. After the ceremony, Kate found herself facing new challenges. Her unique position as both Earth Alliance Admiral and soulbound partner to the Meridian Queen created diplomatic complications. She was no longer fully human in the eyes of many, yet not Meridian either. She existed in between a bridge between. World's Queen Xeraxia faced similar challenges. Her conservative council members questioned her decision. Some saw the binding as diluting the purity of Meridian royalty. Others feared human influence would corrupt their ancient traditions. They will adapt. Xeraxia told Kate during one of their private meetings, "As will your people, change is never easy, especially for a civilization as old as mine. We have been set in our ways for millennia. Your species brings fresh perspectives that is both frightening and necessary." Kate nodded, feeling the Queen's emotions through their bond. "My superiors want me to return to Earth to undergo tests to report everything I now know about your people." "And will you?" Xeraxia asked, her voice neutral, but Kate felt the anxiety beneath the words. "I must return eventually," Kate said, "but I will not betray your trust. What we share goes beyond political allegiances. I will share knowledge that benefits both our peoples, but never anything that could harm the Meridians. The binding gives you that choice," Xeraxia said. "It does not force loyalty. It creates understanding. This is why it is sacred to us, why it has always been reserved for those closest to the Queen. It cannot force love or loyalty, but it makes betrayal nearly impossible because you truly understand the consequences." The weeks that followed brought new discoveries. Kate found that distance affected their connection. When she traveled to Earth for debriefing, the bond remained, but felt stretched thinner. She could still sense Xeraxia's presence, could still access Meridian knowledge, but the immediacy faded. The glow in her eyes dimmed further, until it was barely noticeable, except in moments of intense emotion. The Earth. Scientists were fascinated by the changes in her physiology. Her brainwave patterns showed activity in regions typically dormant in humans. Her cellular regeneration had improved. Her expected lifespan had potentially doubled. They wanted to study her indefinitely, but Kate refused to become a laboratory specimen. "I have duties to both worlds now," she told Admiral Wilson. "I propose a new position, ambassador between Earth Alliance and the Meridian hegemony. Someone who truly understands both cultures." The position was created, though not without controversy. Kate divided her time between Earth and Meridia Prime, learning to navigate her dual existence. When on the Meridian homeworld, she participated in their council meetings, offering human perspective. When on Earth, she helped integrate Meridian technology and ideas, explaining concepts that would have been impossible to translate without her unique understanding. The first challenge to the new alliance came 6 months after. The treaty, a group of human extremists attacked a Meridian research vessel, claiming the aliens were planning to infiltrate humanity through similar bindings. Kate felt Xeraxia's shock and pain across light years. The Queen had lost people she personally knew. Kate immediately traveled to Meridia Prime to stand beside Xeraxia as she addressed her people. This was not sanctioned by Earth Alliance, she assured the angry Meridians. The humans responsible will be found and punished. Our alliance remains strong. Privately, Kate felt the Queen's grief and anger flowing through their connection. "I feel your pain," she said when they were alone. "I share it. These deaths cut me too. Some of my people call for retaliation." Xeraxia said, "They see this as proof that humans cannot be trusted, that the old ways of isolation were better." "And what do you believe?" Kate asked. "I believe in what we have built," Xeraxia said, taking Kate's hands in 4 of her own. "I believe in what we are together. Something with the potential to change both our civilizations for the better. But the path will not be easy. There will be resistance, fear, hatred. Then we face it together," Kate said, "as we have from the beginning." That night, as Kate slept in her quarters on Meridia Prime, she dreamed not of the past but of the future. She saw human and Meridian children playing together in parks under purple skies. She saw joint scientific teams making discoveries that neither species could have achieved. Alone, she saw herself and Xeraxia standing together, aged but still connected, as more bindings formed between their peoples, creating a network of understanding that transcended traditional alliances. 5 years passed. The alliance between humans and Meridians grew stronger despite occasional setbacks. Kate divided her time between worlds, her unique position as bridge between species, making her invaluable to both. Her connection with Queen Xeraxia deepened, becoming more nuanced. They could now communicate across vast distances, sharing not just thoughts but sensations, experiences, emotions. The scientists of both worlds studied their bond, hoping to understand the mechanism behind it. The Meridian, elders called it sacred, mysterious, beyond scientific explanation. The human researchers found subtle changes in Kate's DNA changes that suggested the connection had altered her at the most fundamental level. On the 5th anniversary of the treaty, signing a grand celebration was planned. Representatives from 27 worlds gathered on Meridia Prime. The alliance had expanded beyond just humans and Meridians, attracting other species who saw the benefits of their cooperation. Kate stood on the balcony of the royal palace looking out over the capital city. The architecture was a blend now of angular Meridian crystal structures and more curved human-influenced designs. The streets below filled with beings of different species. Children, who had never known the fear and suspicion of the past, admiring our handiwork. Xeraxia's voice came from behind her. Kate turned, smiling at the queen. Hard to believe how much has changed in 5 years. Sometimes I forget what it was like before. The distrust. The fear. I do not forget, Xeraxia said, joining her at the balcony. The weight of history is longer for my people. We remember centuries of isolation, the belief that no other species could truly understand us, that all others were potential threats. Kate felt the weight of those memories through their connection, the Meridian history spanning thousands of years, the slow, careful evolution of their society, the caution that came with long lifespans. And now, Kate asked, now we have hope. Xeraxia said simply, something many of my people had forgotten. The younger species, your humans, especially, bring a perspective we had lost. The willingness to take risks, to change quickly, to see possibilities rather than threats. Their conversation was interrupted by a young human Meridian diplomatic aide. Forgive me, Your Majesty, Ambassador Porter. The ceremony is about to begin. The delegates are assembled. They made their way to the great hall where representatives from all 27 worlds waited. The room fell silent as they entered. Kate still found it strange how others reacted to them. The mixture of awe and curiosity, the way eyes tracked the subtle glow that passed between them when they stood close. The ceremony began with traditional Meridian music, followed by human compositions, then pieces created by composers of both species working together. It symbolized everything the alliance stood for. Distinct traditions, finding harmony together. Kate was scheduled to speak after Xeraxia. As she listened to the Queen's address, she felt a strange sensation through their bond. Something unexpected. Something Xeraxia was deliberately keeping shielded from her. It wasn't danger, but anticipation, excitement, nervousness when Kate stepped forward to deliver her own speech. She maintained her composure despite her curiosity. 5 years ago, I stood before Queen Xeraxia as an adversary representing a species her people had every reason to fear. We had fought. We had lost. People on both sides. The path to war seemed inevitable. She paused, looking out at the assembled delegates. But in that moment, we chose a different path. Not just peace, but understanding. Not just tolerance, but connection. What began with a simple touch has grown into an alliance that spans worlds. As she continued her speech, Kate noticed something unusual happening in the hall. Meridian royal guards were quietly taking positions at key points. There was no sense of threat, but clearly something unplanned was occurring. She maintained her focus, completing her address to enthusiastic applause from the delegates. When she finished, Queen Xeraxia rose again, something not on the official program. The hall fell silent once more. Today we celebrate 5 years of alliance. The Queen began 5 years of growing understanding between our peoples, but there is something more, something personal, I wish to share. Kate felt a wave of emotion through their bond, something powerful, something Xeraxia had been considering for a long time. In Meridian tradition, Xeraxia continued, the soul binding is our most sacred connection. It joins minds and hearts across time and space. Ambassador Kate Porter and I have shared this bond for 5 years now. I wish to formalize what has grown between us. Kate's eyes widened as she realized what was happening. The royal guards were not there for security. They were there as witnesses for a royal ceremony. Xeraxia turned to face Kate directly. In the presence of these representatives from across the stars, I ask you, Kate Porter, to join with me, not just in mind but in royal union, to stand beside me, not just as ambassador but as my consort, my equal, my chosen one. The hall erupted in gasps and whispers. Kate stood frozen. Her diplomatic training had never prepared her for this. Through their bond, she felt Xeraxia's sincerity, the depth of feeling that had grown between them over the years. Your Majesty, Kate said, formally aware of the historical significance of this moment. You honor me with your proposal, but this goes beyond us as individuals. This would forever change the relationship between our peoples. Are you certain this is wise? Xeraxia smiled, a gesture she had adopted from humans. Wisdom would have kept us separate. Fear would have led us to war. It was courage that brought us together. The courage to touch, to connect, to understand. It is that same courage I ask of you now. Kate felt tears forming in her eyes. She reached out, taking 2 of Xeraxia's hands in her own. The familiar glow intensified where they touched, visible to everyone in the hall. I accept, Kate said, her voice steady despite her emotions. Not just for myself, but for the future we can build together. Celebrations lasted for days. News of the royal union spread across all 27 worlds. Some traditionalists on both sides expressed shock or outrage, but for most it represented the ultimate symbol of the alliance, a human and Meridian queen, ruling together, bridging worlds in the most personal way possible. The formal union ceremony followed ancient Meridian traditions, adapted to include human elements. Kate wore a gown that combined Earth Alliance blue with the royal purple of Meridia. The vows were spoken in both languages. Though the words were different, the meaning was the same. A promise to stand together through whatever challenges might come. After the ceremony, Kate and Xeraxia retreated to the royal gardens for a rare moment of privacy. Their guards maintaining a respectful distance. So I am a queen now, Kate said with a small laugh. Not exactly what I expected when I joined Earth Alliance. You are still you, Xeraxia assured her, still Admiral Porter, still Earth Alliance Ambassador. The titles change, but the essence remains. This is why the binding works. It does not erase what we are. It adds to it. Kate nodded. My people have a saying, 2 becoming 1, but that's not quite right, is it? It's more like 2 becoming 3. You, me, and something new between us. Precisely, Xeraxia said. This is the wisdom your people bring to ours. The understanding that union creates something greater than its parts. This is why I believed in our alliance from the moment you touched me. That single act of courage showed me what was possible. That night they stood together on the highest tower of the palace, looking up at the stars. Kate thought about the journey that had brought her here, from Earth Alliance officer to ambassador to queen consort. It was a path no human had walked before. What are you thinking? Xeraxia asked. Though she could sense the general shape of Kate's thoughts about beginnings and endings, Kate replied, 5 years ago I was prepared to die in that negotiation room. I touched you expecting your guards to kill me for the offense. Instead it began something neither of us could have imagined. The ancient texts speak of destiny, Xeraxia said. My scientists would call it statistical probability. My warriors would call it fate. I believe it was simply the right beings in the right place with the courage to reach across the divide. Kate smiled. Whatever we call it, I'm grateful. Below them, the celebrations continued. Humans and Meridians and beings from 25 other worlds mingling, sharing stories, food, music, ideas. The universe had changed because one human dared to touch an alien queen. We should join them, Kate said after a moment. Our people will be waiting. Our people, Xeraxia, repeated the words with satisfaction. Yes, that sounds right. Together they descended from the tower, walking side by side, the human and the alien queen. No longer separate, no longer strangers. A bridge between worlds. A promise of what could be when. Fear gave way to understanding.